This is Peter Kang with Ogilvy Digital Labs, here at Sony PlayStation Network with Susan Panico, and we're going to look at the new features that are on the PlayStation 3. So Susan, can you give us a brief overview of the new features of PlayStation Network?
Sure. So we're really excited this year at the press conference. We introduced our video delivery service, which allows consumers to download movies and TV shows, as well as original programming through the PlayStation Network on their PlayStation 3. But the great thing about it is that they could also port their content over to the PSP and take it on the go.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we'll get into the whole DRM aspect in a bit. Can you walk us through just the interface of how PlayStation Network looks like and how it functions?
Sure. So back in November 2006, when we launched PlayStation 3, the PlayStation Store was available then, and we've reached over 5 million users now in the US. And this is just a picture of the store that was revamped recently in April, so it's a very easy to use interface and a great way to categorize content. And as you can see, we're doing a special E3 version of the store today. And just take a look really quick. So we have all the categories listed down here on the left and all the merchandising opportunities and these big banners over here to the right. And one of the great things, aside from all the unique type of games that you can get on PlayStation Network, is we just introduced this product called Core that is basically an interactive TV show in high definition that gives people the inside track on video gaming in the world of PlayStation. So Core presents a really great opportunity for advertisers to get in touch with a very highly sought after male 20 to 29 audience, but to present their advertising in a contextual way that's not invasive, and the advertising becomes the content itself. So our audience really loves to eat that stuff up and have it as part of the entertainment experience.
And when is Core launching?
So the first episode of Core launched in June. The second episode was just released on right around 4th of July, I believe, on the 3rd. And it's a monthly TV show that is accessible through PlayStation Network.
Wow, and then how are you incorporating sponsors into the programming?
So there's a lot of ways to be involved with Core. There's a sponsorship that's available at the very beginning, the launch of the episode, and then we have 4 featured areas for stories that a sponsor can get involved on. And then we also have the download center where all the downloadable interactive content can be accessed, like game demos, movie trailers, wallpapers and themes for your PS3. So that's a very sought after area because that's where all the users go to get their downloadable content. So that's also available for sponsorship there as well.
Right. Okay. And then can you talk a little about how video is delivered on the network through the different various interfaces here?
Sure. So we the PlayStation 3 connects via a broadband connection. We have both wireless connectivity and hardwire connection through the PlayStation 3, and you just basically go and choose the product that you want. You're able to get a description of it. You can see the different episodes that we have for Core, and then you go into a longer description if you want to learn more about the product, and then basically you can do a buy now or add it to your cart, and then it's downloaded to your hard drive on your PlayStation 3.
Wonderful. And so some of these may just be free if they're sponsored by a marketer that wants to be associated with the brand.
One of the things that we really understand is that branding is very important, and we want to make sure that we deliver on the corporate goals of the brand and the marketer, but then also make sure that it's delivered in a way that is not invasive to our consumer. And we've found a lot of good ways to bring those two together.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And so back to the DRM. When we originally launched this stuff, we weren't on DRM, right? And now.
Well, actually, in the game store, we do have a proprietary DRM for all of our gaming content.
Right.
And now that we've launched the video delivery service, we use Marlin Digital DRM for our video content.
Great. So this is great in terms of content. Let's talk a little bit about community and different interfaces for community. Home's been announced for very long. People are very excited about the interfaces for it. Can you talk a little bit about Home and when that's launching?
Sure. So PlayStation Home is a high-definition social networking service for PlayStation 3. It's set in a virtual world environment, and it's launching this fall. What we're doing with Home is something that's never been done before in the industry, and it's really a total convergence of community, entertainment, the ability to launch into games, come back and talk about the games with your friends, and really facilitate a better gaming experience for our consumers.
Right, I know there's been a lot of talk on how exiting game screens and getting back to the home screen has been much more fluid and much more easier to do on the PS3. And you're really talking about a pure integration of the game with the community, with online, with the store, and it's pretty exciting. What kind of brands are jumping on board right now with Home when you launch on it?
Sure. We're talking to a lot of brands, and many of them do not want us to publicly disclose it because it's obviously part of their launch campaigns and so forth. But one of our partners is Nike, who will be looking at integrating into Home at the launch. We have a lot of third-party gaming publishers on board, like Ubisoft has already done an event in our closed beta that was very successful, and I think it was a great way for them to engage with their audience in a much different way than they've ever done before. It's very intimate, and then again in this virtual space. Electronic Arts is on board, Lucas Arts. We have great support from the gaming community and are in very active conversations with non-gaming brands.
Wonderful. And lastly, to close out, what's the long-term vision of PlayStation Network?
It's a good question. The long-term vision for PlayStation Network ultimately is to deliver the most engaging, compelling content that people can't get anywhere else. So the PlayStation 3 is the ultimate de facto device in the living room. It delivers high-definition content, and really, if you look down in the future, if you're going to migrate people from their cable set-top boxes to PlayStation 3s, it's through culturally relevant content that they can't get anywhere else. But what's great for us is that we also have our secret weapon, PlayStation Portable. So through access to the PlayStation 3, they can take all this content with them on the go.
This is Peter Kane with Ogilvy Digital Labs taking a sneak preview of the new features of PlayStation Network with Susan Panico.